Carrie and Mark, building on what Mark just went through, it supporting, I call it the projections for growth. One of our observations has been that 2024 was a year of pause as organizations delayed the decision making on outsourcing versus technology investments. And the net impact to, I'm going to say, all the service providers from that perspective in 2024, annual growth was 1% globally, approximately. And that basically, we need to shift and, to Mark's point, adapt to the new changing environment we're in. Historically, we've been helping our clients or the buyers optimize their value through labor arbitrage, right? So if you go back to 1990s, it was IT services, and then in 2000 it was the whole BPO process serves, back office, process, et cetera. I'm going to tag that as Gen 1 sourcing. And then, in the 2010s, we went to the transformational world. As we were going to that model, the labor arbitrage, the value was dropping because the focus is more on transforming the business. And now building on what Mark talked about was, in this technology-enabled world that we're in today, and I'm going to go into the global crisis shortly, the call it Gen 3, the value of labor arbitrage continues to decline. And so that's the shift we have to look at. So if you go back traditionally, outsourcing, the wage inflation led to that whole piece, right? And now in those locations, the prices are going up. For example, India has a 9.5% wage increase, over the last couple of years. China as well. And that significant labor productivity has been rising as well. And now we come to the global conflicts and geopolitical uncertainty. 69% of US-based companies reported plans to relocate operations out of China because of the crisis, right? And now, coupled with what we're dealing with in collection, is also the rise of the tech-enabled services that Mark went into a lot more detail. Now, coming to the geopolitical, the global conflicts and that whole world, we have the Russia-China, Russia-Ukraine war. We have the Middle East crisis, the South China Sea crisis, right? And basically, what has that impacted? So, the impact of global trade shifts, regulatory pressures, economic policies on sourcing, partnerships, and cross-border or operations. Of course, there's new opportunities now in the emerging markets with shifting investment strategies. And as we look at this, and I'm going to go back to the disruptions we're dealing with, it started in 2020 with, I hate to bring it up, the COVID crisis. Then we went to the geopolitical conflicts. Now we're dealing with tariffs, bird flu, inflation, you name it, right? It's impacted our supply chains, economies. One of the things that came out of that also was another disruption with the next gen staffing model, dealing with the work from home and that whole crisis. Then on top of that, we add on to what Mark talked about, the tech-enabled capabilities, what Gen AI and its variations, and it's rapidly changing, has brought to the table. So it seems like disruptions are becoming the new norm. So what is next? Now, how do we adapt? And organizations need to recognize that a pause in delayed decision-making on technology investments, I'm going to say, AKA transformation and driving change, could lead to negative outcomes. We need to stay ahead of the competitors, and our job is to help the buyers, our clients, help them in their journey. If I paraphrase something that Jim Collins had said, if you don't change, you die. So I think it's important. I don't mean the word die in that sense, but companies need to change and adapt and stay ahead of the competitors. And that's what's going to be key. So my takeaway, 2025 must be a year of decisive action for innovation, transformation, and technology investments. And I'll turn it back to you.